and anime reflux. Everybody, I mixed up the word order because fun and spontaneous. Uh,
Yeah, that's what
this
we call it.
yeah, this week we're doing the melody of Oblivion. Fuck you, Go Go Anime, and your weeb ass titles that literally have the English version on your box art, while you still use the fucking literal Japanese words, or rather, the Romaji version
It's
of the Japanese words because you're not actual Japanese people, you just try and pretend.
it's not Attack on Titan. It's Shingeki no Kyojin,
Yeah.
despite it saying Attack on Titan in English.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, isn't that the norm? Like,
what's the original name of Howl's Moving Castle?
I have no idea.
There you go. So, Miles' sudden and irrational complaining about weebs aside, yeah, this show is weird. And the
Yes,
world building doesn't really work very well.
a long time ago, there was a battle between humans and monsters.
Not a
A
long time
horrible
ago,
war.
20th century. 20th
20th
Yeah,
century,
century
there was a war. It is now the 21st.
between humans and monsters, and the monsters won. Look at this girl dancing in front of the chaos. Isn't she great?
Yeah.
This war was horrible and tragic. Boy, isn't this girl cute.
Yeah. So, let me put this in perspective. Uh, there was a war in the 20th century, and the faction you align with lost, and now everyone is going about their business forgetting that they lost the war or no longer caring. I believe this
because
may quite possibly be a bit of allegory on the author's part.
it's because the enemy has disseminated themselves among the population and just basically become humans visually, which also doesn't make sense. But sure, whatever.
Humans are the monsters.
This is a post World War II thing, by the way. I'm just
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I got it.
In case people missed that I was hinting at. Yeah.
Mm.
I
Uh,
didn't know specifically what you were saying, but I assumed it was something like that, yeah.
yeah. Uh, so yeah, we now move to what I presume was the 21st century because they wouldn't have specified 20th otherwise. Though there was also a dude who was like in his probable 30s who supposedly fought in that war, so maybe it's still the 20th century. Who fucking knows?
Well, all I know is that it's not Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
Sadly.
Sadly.
Is that good? I don't actually know.
It was unique.
Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
It had a catchy theme song.
Yes.
Did it?
That's
Based on what I just heard of the snippet of it.
I didn't say it was good. I said it was catchy.
yeah.
So, there is a kid putting his fucking outdoor shoes on at home, about to go to school. And he's listening to his parents arguing about how shit he is compared to his brother, who was good in school and got a good job at his dad's company, which doesn't actually sound like an achievement to me because that's just fucking nepotism, but whatever. So the kid goes to school, and on his way, he runs across Girl with Glasses, who he ogles when she bends down in front of him, which I. That pose, I have to assume that's what that's for, to be perfectly honest with you.
What, to show off?
Yeah.
Fair.
Like, you see that a lot, and, like, maybe it's also supposed to be kind of cutesy, but also just staring right down the cleavage. Every time. But, yeah. He makes fun of her for having glasses, and she makes fun of him for failing a test that he has to repeat. and they see a guy down on the riverbank who this kid, Boca is his name, he's friendly with, but the girl is like, no, don't do that. The school says he's creepy and weird, even though he's presumably a mechanic, which is a weird profession to look down on like that, but whatever. And they see another guy who is supposedly a drifter, which, okay, apparently you know everyone in your fucking city, but whatever.
Don't fail your test or else you'll end up like that hobo over there.
In the incredibly ostentatious armor that he happens to be wearing. Fucking hobo.
Yeah, you hope. I'm like,
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Just saying, the world building is a little shaky. So, speaking of shaky world building, let's get to the school, where Boca is having pee. I guess. I assume. The teacher shows off by firing an invisible arrow at a wall, and I don't know whether this is supposed to be a real thing that's happening or just like everyone's doing this weird gaslighting thing of like, hey, yeah, you totally shot that arrow at that wall kind of thing. I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell as well. I think this is because the main character doesn't have powers, he can't see it. Similar to like,
so it's sort of a we have
Spirits
his
and Bleach.
we have his perspective on things kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how I took it anyway, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But that kid nails that bullseye, and they're just like, ha, fuck you.
Yeah. Also, that student council president that the teacher calls on, that was voiced by Taliesin Jaffe, so that was interesting.
Oh.
I assume an early role for him.
I actually pick up on that.
Yeah, so Boca fires an arrow, and they talk shit at him for using a real arrow, in which case I ask the question, why do they have real arrows?
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
That's a good point, actually. If they're just going to look up on or look down on regular archery, why do they... Are you supposed to use it as a conduit? Like, what?
Yep. So, like, I wasn't even particularly trying to pick this one apart. It's just like, why though? Just really obvious shit.
It's just falling apart on its own.
Yeah. So the teacher demands him to shoot the iron wall then, if getting a bullseye was so great. And he does, and the arrow snaps, and he's like, ha, fuck you. Even
Way
though...
to break an arrow, loser.
Yeah, even though the teacher didn't seemingly break the iron wall either, did he? I don't catch that. Then again, I didn't know he actually shot the wall, so, you know.
I think I got a drink when he shot it, but there was no damage, so I don't actually know.
I feel like we're harping on this point a little bit too much.
I'm not sure we are, because there's apparently a thing that comes back later. Yeah.
I mean, they're explaining the powers that humans have in this universe that obviously we do not have in reality. You'd think they'd do it a little better than this.
Yeah, true.
So then we go to the end of school, and Boca's on the roof, and Glass's girl is also on the roof, and they have a little flirty flirt. And I assume this is just like, they're gonna have romantic tension, and he's gonna end up with someone else. But no, they're apparently actually seeing each other, which is novel. I'll grant them that. You don't see that very often, of just, hey, these characters are in a relationship.
From episode 1, that's I would actually like to see more of that.
Yeah. So they kiss. And she's like, hey, we can do more stuff if you pass that test that you have to retake. And he's like, what, so we can't make out anymore unless I pass this test?
That's so stupid.
Yup.
Interesting incentive, and I'm glad he calls her out on it right away.
Well,
I mean, I'm
calls her
sure
out
it's
on it by jumping on top of the fence that is there to prevent suicides because it's a Japanese school.
yeah.
So I was kind of like expecting. Oh, that's probably he probably jumped on top of the he didn't just jump off of the building, did he? Kind of thing. Fuck Tess,
I
I
thought
want
for
to
a
get
second-
pussy. God damn it!
I thought for a second it was just gonna be like, goodbye.
Yeah. So he's just
I'm out. Episode over.
he's just up there now, I guess. For some, I don't think it actually pays off in any particular way. He's just up there.
It's just being dramatic.
I mean, considering this is anime, I didn't really take it as like a suicide threat. I mean, for all we know, he could easily survive that fall casually.
Yeah. Again, it's a little world building thing. Is it supposed to be, hey, this is just anime physics, or is it supposed to be, hey, he's actually super athletic to the point he can jump over a like several person tall fence? I don't. It's hard to tell. But they are leaving the school when they come across his parents. Oh, that was why. They can see his parents down on the walking to school. And they track them down, and they're giving a bribe to the PE teacher to pass him on this test retake. And while they're walking home, the girl's like, "Isn't this great? Everything's fine now. You can just pass the test and not even worry about it. You don't even have to do anything." And he's not
like we're
particularly
at
happy
war
about
or
it.
anything.
He's not particularly happy about it. But she's like, "Hey, do you want to come over to my place and do stuff?" And he's like, "No, I wanted to pass the test for real," and runs away. I guess, which is kind of fair enough. And she's like, "Hey, no, this is how the real world works," which is yeah, that's a depressing mindset.
What was her
Inaccurate.
point here exactly?
I mean, I guess that just take advantage of whatever advantages you happen to have, and you have rich parents, and they're willing to just buy your way through, so just fucking accept it and do what you gotta do, kind of thing.
That's fair. Yes, depressing, but I mean that's true even in our world, so at least it's universal.
I mean, also it's PE, and presumably any martial profession is looked down upon now, I guess, because I'm a guy. So, but whatever.
What an odd world.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, if the monsters are in positions of power and they've basically, taken over the higher levels of society, then I can see them shifting things away from humans being strong. It's basically de-incentivizing them from being warriors of any kind.
Again, allegory. Japan doesn't have a standing army anymore. They have the self-defense force. That's it. So.
Right.
So on his way home, he runs across the mechanic shop again and decides to visit. And inside, he finds the armor dude with him, and they're working on a machine. And they're like, "Hey, this guy was a warrior from the fucking war that was apparently only like 10 years ago, even though everyone's forgotten it."
Pretty crazy, right?
We completely missed a scene.
Yeah, I think we did.
missed the monster scene. Oh, and the backstory scene of like,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
there
with
was that
the
kid
boy
K.
with the bus.
Yeah, there was the kid K who went to fetch something. He forgot his watch in school when they were about to go on a field trip, so he ran to go get it, and he never came back. He was reported missing, and then everyone just stopped talking about him.
That feels very Japanese.
Yeah. I mean, also pretty anywhere else. I mean, you do report missing kids, but then also eventually they don't get found, and then people just
Yeah,
kind of
but
move
it's
on.
usually not ignored the next day.
I think it's implied it wasn't the next day. It was just sort of
Over a period of time.
yeah.
Ah.
So Back to the present, we are in a Japanese government office, or presumably Japanese, like it's not really established that it's Japan, but it's Japan. And they are receiving a visitor who is a monster, and they're like, just don't do anything stupid, kind of thing. And dude shows up. His name's Horu. He is voiced by Lima Brian, which is pretty good. And he's like, gets served tea by this pretty lady in a very tight suit, and he's like, hey, that's a nice suit. Call me Horu. And she's like, oh, Horu.
She is really into it. So I'm not sure if monsters have any kind of seductive powers, or if she's just...
I assume this particular monster has a bit of a Chad aura going on.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Can you feel the Chad aura from across the street? Just, yeah, immediately, like, cannot contain herself.
Yep. And her boss chastises her for it, even though, well, I mean, he did say, don't fucking do anything stupid, so he's like, talk shit at your employee, and not at the terrifying thing that is also the cause of it. It's probably a safer play, I'll grant.
I mean, yeah, that's how most bosses tend to do it in front of what is essentially the customer, and then later they're like, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, so they're like, yeah, we got the thing for you if you ever decided to stop by, and it's Kay. He's still looking for that bus, presumably under hypnotism, but it's actually just kind of funny. It's amusing and not scary that he is still looking for that bus. It just makes him look kind of slow. This weird blue magic cage isn't the bus. Yeah, so Horu is like, no, the bus is already gone, and strips him naked for some reason, and then eats him, I guess.
I guess he doesn't like the taste of clothes.
That's fair. Fabric is not great. And while one of the employees is dragging the woman who is now unconscious out of the room, two of the employees apparently get a look at the monster's true form, which turns them into stick mannequins with the pictures of the face on them.
I was so confused by that scene.
Yeah. And also depressed that the hot lady was now made of sticks. But yeah, confused is also an emotion I felt.
Edible sticks, apparently.
Yeah.
She's just Pocky. She's turned into Pocky.
Oh, that's actually an awesome superpower.
Tasty either way, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
So, that's a thing that happened. Anyway, back to where we got up to before we realized we forgot a bunch of stuff. So, in the mechanic shop, they're like, hey, this guy used to be a warrior, and this is his machine that they used to fight monsters in the war. And it's a motorbike. It's pretty much just a motorbike. And they have a discussion about the war and fighting monsters, and the warrior, who is voiced by Travis Willingham, by the way.
All these Critical Role voice actors. I didn't even know.
Yeah. He's like, I like that look you got, kid. You look like you see things clearly, whatever that means. So then the fucking monster shows up down here for some reason. And he's riding a bus, which I guess Kay found the bus. Good for him. And then the bus grows horns and feet. It is now a Minotaur bus.
It's a bull.
It's a tour bus.
Oh, they got us.
Oh, I hate myself.
I took physical damage from that.
They got us.
Oh, that's a that's a trilingual pun. I don't think Japan would have gone for that, but it's nice that it's there. That we got there. That's good. So, yeah, he's a bus now. I guess. And he was apparently supposed to be in a labyrinth, but now he's also still in the labyrinth. Whatever the fuck this is supposed to mean.
The labyrinth is now everywhere. The labyrinth everywhere system.
I mean, aren't they in like a subway tram system kind of thing by the time they fight?
No.
No, they were like on a riverbank.
Oh,
The workshop was on a riverbank.
I don't know why. The visuals seemed like they were underground when they actually started fighting, but I guess I'm.
It
not
would have
really
made more
remembering.
sense if they were underground.
Well, they had this whole thing like, where did the stars go? So they're obviously above ground. And he's like, this thing wants to hide from the stars or something because it hates them. And then they have the fight. So I guess maybe it moved the location, like transport. Who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? So warrior guy goes off to fight the tour bus. It's still funny. On his motorcycle that is apparently a cheetah or something. Or a panther. It was a big cat. I forget which kind it was. Maybe it was
I think
a
it was
tiger.
like a panther or something.
Yeah. So he
Jaguar,
rides off into the
maybe.
night chasing that thing down. And the mechanic is looking for Boca, who has disappeared. And Boca just kind of fucked off at some point in the middle of this.
He just
Like-
left.
Yeah, he didn't, like, get, chasing after them or, like, just, get caught up in anything. He just kind of wandered off in the middle of that fight, I guess.
All right, later, guys.
Yeah, I got to get home. I got to yell at my parents for bribing that teacher, I guess. Kid stuff. That's what you got to do. But he's holding his arm where there's like a glyph or something on there now. And he's like, the melody, the melody, the melody. And then this girl, and then the episode's over. I feel like they didn't really endeavor to explain a whole lot, and the things they did try to explain, they explained very, very poorly.
Yeah, that's very accurate. It's just kind of a mess.
Only warriors can see the mysterious waifu. Oh no, now I can see this mysterious waifu, and my arm is glowing with a sigil like his arm is glowing. What?
Was I born to fight monsters?
Am I gonna be on the title cover of this thing in which I'm riding on the motorbike that he is using right now?
Yeah.
Card games on motorcycles.
Card games on motorcycles.
So the show did a couple things that were interesting. Like,
Yeah.
protagonist-oriented relationship that's super fucking rare. And I don't know, it was going for an allegory thing, I think. I have to assume.
I almost hope, because otherwise it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, that's usually the downfall of allegory, is you try so hard to quote-unquote say something with it that the actual in-setting world doesn't make any goddamn sense. So, if that's what they were going for, it's kind of expected. If it's not, then they were stupid and did this really poorly for no reason.
Yeah. It wasn't... I suppose it wasn't terrible, but it didn't really endeavor to make me want to see more.
Mm-hmm. It was... I don't really care much about these characters, and this world kind of doesn't make a lot of sense, but at the same time it's something I've seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of secret war aspect gets a little tiresome after a while. especially with a universe that was implied to be at straight up confrontational war less than 3 decades ago.
I'd say not even
Like,
2. Like, again, that
yeah,
guy's
I
like
mean, I
30s,
was being
40s at
generous by
most.
saying 3, but that doesn't. It's like they're a known threat. That doesn't make any sense. They would try and hide, especially considering they won.
Yeah.
They would be just walking down the street going, snacks, and just grabbing whoever the fuck they wanted, and no one would do anything.
Yeah. And hey, you were supposed to be trapped in the labyrinth. Guy from the side that won the war and thus can do anything they want with impunity.
Yeah. It kind of falls apart.
Like, just at a cursory glance, it falls apart. So yeah, that was a. I wish I liked it more. I wish it was a little more competent. I'll put it that way. Because, I mean, if it was, I feel like this could have maybe been a decent one of these. That admittedly we've seen a lot of, but still, we've seen a lot of them and most of them are shit. So another decent one wouldn't exactly be a bad thing.
Yeah. Let's roll a new one.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can get here. Out of 26, we will get the number that is known as 22.
22 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 is W. 31. Not many at all.
Okay, 31. Let's see what we get here. 19.
No, 19. It's all the Critical Role references today. Christ.
I mean,
Okay.
with most of the Critical Role cast voicing characters in this, I'm not surprised.
Oh, that was the wrong thing. Hang on. Oh, boy.
Okay,
What do we got?
what do we got?
So, who wants another story that's probably centered around music? At least I hope so.
Well, Sonata is in the name, so I'm going to assume.
Winter Sonata.
Yeah, the story follows a girl named Yu Jin Jung, so I assume this is Chinese and not Japanese, and her male classmate Jun Sang Kang. Wait, no, this might be Korean, yeah. As tragedy and angst befalls them and those around them in the years between high school and young adulthood. There are years between high school and young adulthood?
I mean, don't some countries graduate from their equivalent of high school at like 16, and then they have a choice to go to college?
That's fair. Yeah, I would be from one of those countries, so yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a tragedy, according to the comments, not by the tags. People really fucking like it.
Sure.
I'm sure episode 1 is probably going to be entirely set up, considering this seems like kind of a slow style story, but sure, why not?
I mean, if it's a drama and romance, there's not overly much that they need to set up, so maybe not.
I doubt they're going to be an episode from Relationship 1, unlike this one.
So apparently this has a live action version that is a Korean drama.
Oh, okay.
So it is Korean. That makes sense. That's me being dumb with Asian naming conventions.
So I think this might be a anime adaptation of a Korean drama. Which is an interesting route to take to get to this point, but sure. Might as well try something new.
I mean, if they're going to do that, I assume it has to do more with symbolism and, not quite real imagery kind of thing as metaphor. At least I would hope so, because I don't know why else they would do anything in anime.
Okay, so I know in the manga world, the Korean manhwa are and have been growing more popular with time, but have there been a lot of Korean anime? Because I feel like this is kind of unique.
There have been a few. Yeah. A few. I'm gonna do a quick Google search to see. Yeah, there's been a few. I don't think there's a big boom of them, but
Just kind of a trickle.
yeah. Bit of a different style. They seem to like the CG over actual animation.
Yeah, I mean the most popular manhwa to exist is something that's entirely like 3D. I forget what it's called, like Steel Angels or something. I tried to read it for a while. It's jarring.
Hmm.
Also, really disturbing. It's not a good world.
Okay, so we're doing Winter Sonata next week, unless anyone wants to. Oh wait, I'm the only one with a veto. Oh no.
You're the only one who has a choice in the matter.
Yeah, I'll go along with it. Sure.
I'm
Alright.
curious what the Korean take on romance is.
Probably somewhat more intimate than Japanese, but way less intimate than Western romance. Is my assumption, knowing very little about Korea.
That feels like an accurate assessment.
Okay, so Winter Sonata next week. Let's see how that goes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you guys.